Alrighty, you guys. My name is Trey Bailey. I'm currently a designer out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and this is my online portfolio. So as you come onto the landing page, you see I've got my social media up in the top left corner, my contact information in the top right, and then my logo up in the center. I was going for more of a central layout for most of my portfolio. So as you go down on the landing page, you see some of my recent projects that I've been working on. It allows you to scroll through them. And if you click on them, it'll take you to the individual parts of my portfolio page with them. Scroll down, it gives you a little information about me and how I like to go about my creative ventures. And then at the bottom, we've got our social media again, our basic footer. And then here we'll go to the portfolio page like this. And then my second page is my portfolio page with all my works, and I have it categorized by different types of design. So the first category I've got at the top is branding design projects. I have them subcategorized also by the individual brands themselves. So here you can see that we have Sergeant Pepperoni's Pizzeria. This is a logo that I designed for them that was similar to the current logo, but it was more of a rebranded modern logo, giving some better colors than they had and give some better brand identity with them. If you click on the individual images, it gives you a little description about each of them and something about the project as well. Right here, we have the brand guide for the Sergeant Pepperoni's rebrand. And if you click on it, it takes you to this link here, allowing you to see the full PDF and flip through each individual page and see exactly what the guidelines for their current branding are according to the new brand. And then as you go down, you have some more examples of how the brand would be used, social media examples, collateral item examples. The next project I have is the Tennessee Red, White, and Brew Fest, which was a brew fest out of Clarksville, Tennessee. This is an actual branding that I did for them. This was the original piece that I worked on for them, was their poster, and then we worked more and more in the future as we developed a logo for them, and then finally a website for them. And if you click on the website, it'll take you to their main page here. Oh, there we go. So it takes you to their main page. You can go through all their individual aspects of the website and see exactly what I designed for them. And then the next project we worked on was an American Red Cross event advertisements. So for here, I made a social media, specifically Instagram ad for this specific event. And then on the right, we have the poster that I created for the event. As we go down, you get more examples of some stuff. This is an online graphics for, it's a social media header. This one was specifically made for Twitter and YouTube. To the right, we've got an example of a mobile app for traveling, being able to find different resorts in different places around the world. As we move down into the next category, this is our product design. So if you click on each of these, it opens an online PDF, just like the brand guide up top. We've got the American Diabetes Association handout. This was for a newsletter for them. Then to the right, we've got a infographic on how to make pizza. Got a few different examples of products around here. So this is a user manual that would come along with the blender and teaching all the different aspects and features of the product. This is a brochure for the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina. It's focused on the whole, oh, well, I didn't mean to open that, but it's to focus on the whole estate itself, all their grounds, all their features that they have there. This gives an example of book cover design. And then this is another example of that. This is for a flower or a florist. So it gives you different examples of which flowers they have in stock and what their needs are. Finally, we have the Junior League of Knoxville Save the Date postcard. We just recently worked with them in our branding class, and this was the final postcard that we landed on for them. And our last category is going to be logo design. Gives you the 4 logos that I've mainly worked on with different companies. You can see the Sgt. Pepperonis again. You can see the Brewfest logo and Scruffy City Cat Rescue logo, which is a mock company that we worked on for our dual roles assignment, which was where for 2 companies you were the lead designer, or for 2 companies you were the company owner, and then 1 company you were the lead designer for that company. And so this is the one that I designed for their company. And this is for the Panthers on Microphones speech contest that PSCP holds every year. Sadly, they didn't get to have it this past year, but this was one that we worked on for them. And in the same footer again. And then our last page is the contact page, which gives anyone who comes to my site a way to contact me that's a little more inclusive on my site rather than going straight off these links here. You can also click these if you'd like to send me an email or call my phone number. But if you had any questions about the site or something that you didn't want to send a whole email for, you can just fill out the form and it'll send me an email directly. And that's my portfolio. So here's the full PDF of the bulb booklet. So the reason why I laid it out in the mock-up form was because it was a little easier to understand the layout. As you see it laid out here, it's a little hard to follow, but this is the front cover and the back cover. And then this is your original first page and second page. And then it goes into the individual bulbs of each flower.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you so much for pulling that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
It was one of my favorite design projects that I did. This was when we were working with InDesign. So it gave me a really nice idea of how to use master pages to simplify the process and all that stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
Hey Trey.
Yes.
I would like to actually talk about the portfolio layout.
Okay.
On some of the images and everything, you have click here to view the online PDF. I feel like they would be better served to have titles or some type of description talking about the work that you actually did. I mean, I know you've got the different headings that say logo design, but you know, maybe the types of challenges or things that you actually benefited from with each of those pieces, because just looking at it, I wouldn't necessarily know what part you did, say for the design or whatnot. So I feel like giving the audience just a little bit more description and things like that would benefit you.
Okay, yeah, like inclusion of like skills used or some problem I solved. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just gonna add, excuse me, that I worked with Trey, and it was a pleasure working with Trey, and I was very impressed by his eagerness and his willing to take feedback and suggestions, and I think that he did very well. And I have to say, Aaron, that's a good comment. Although I'd like to add, I wouldn't get too descriptive. I mean, like, you know, I think that was really good, but you don't want to write a book because they're not going to read it. So just, you know, highlight maybe bullet points. But I do agree with that. And anyways, but it was a pleasure working with you, Trey. And I think overall you did a fabulous job. And if I was looking to hire you, I'd hire you. And I
Thank
think
you.
that also the way that you presented yourself when every time we met was very impressive as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
And not to call you out, but Daniel Ma actually was Trey's internship supervisor. And just if you have any comments, Daniel.
Well, as you see on my screen, my name is not Mary Mall. That's you can tell that my wife has been borrowing my computer. No, we have been thoroughly impressed with Trey. Trey has been working with another graduate of Pellissippi. We have now hired. I'm just trying to think. I think we have hired at least 7 graduates from Pellissippi. And every one of them have done very well. We've had one here not too long ago. He actually took a job in design in Nashville. So what y'all are doing there at the school, just keep doing it. But Trey has done well. He's everything that our guy has asked him to do, he has done. He has shown he can be a team player. And obviously, based on his presentation, he knows what he's doing. So we're very proud to have Trey here, and who knows, we'd love to have an opening maybe come up that we could offering him a position somewhere down the road.
Thank you, Daniel.
So, hi, my name is Matthew Castle, and I am a second-year student here at Pellissippi State studying design for web print, and I'm proud to be presenting my portfolio. So kicking off here, some of what I feel is my strongest work that I've developed over the years. Start off with the brief history project designed using Adobe Illustrator. Tasked with creating a timeline history, so I decided to do it on the Corvette because that's one of my favorite cars in real life. And I had a lot of fun coming in, designing, outlining all these Corvettes in Illustrator. Nextly is the Bella Blue jeans brochure that I developed in InDesign, promoting a jeans company, Bella Blue. And this would be the second page of that brochure, showing off Bella Blue. Nextly, this is a media kit project that I designed using Adobe Photoshop, using my own phone and Terabyte beats as the subjects to cut out with Photoshop and put onto a media kit. Nextly is my zoo brochure, which was on Zoo Knoxville, designed using Adobe InDesign. Nextly, moving on to second page of this zoo brochure, designed using InDesign. Nextly, probably one of my favorites is the Christmas at Biltmore brochure, because around the time I took the InDesign class, it was right before Christmas. I figured it'd be a good time to develop a brochure for Christmas at Biltmore. And then this is the second page of said brochure. And I actually have a physical printed copy of said brochure. And lastly, for what I feel is my strongest projects, my newsletter project, Design Culture Now, designed using Adobe InDesign. Nextly, moving on to another one of my stronger pieces, the 3 Perspectives project, detailing 3 different perspectives of an object using Adobe Illustrator, which I did using my own camera as if it was being used in an instruction booklet. So this is the trace of the front and the image that I worked with to do that trace. Next, it will be the side of the camera, traced using Illustrator. And then the original I worked with. And now the back shot of the camera. And what I started with. Next thing moving on is a retouch project that I did using Adobe Photoshop. Basic image correction, taking old images that have scratches, dust marks, specks on them, may have washed out, and correcting them, bringing them to life. This is the after shot for the picture I did with President Roosevelt. And this is the before all the retouching. And here is another image, the same subject, President Roosevelt, and the before, showcasing the before and afters of those shots. Moving on to another one of my personal favorite projects, the Bold Bible, which was developed using Adobe InDesign. This is the first page. I'm just going over this. I have the printed copy, which can showcase that. And here, moving on to the second page of the Bold Bible. Third page. Fourth page. Fifth page. And that is all for the Bold Bible. Last but not least, work that I have done on the side outside of school projects. This is a logo I personally developed for myself to use on social media and various platforms that I interact with. Nextly is a snow glitter pattern I designed using Adobe Photoshop. This can be used as a background that can be repeated across a large surface, avoiding the need to stretch images. And nextly, a fall leaves pattern, which can be used as a seamless pattern on a website or background. Electric waves, and probably suiting for this time of year, a snowflake pattern, and then a stars pattern. And then listed at the bottom of my portfolio page is a link to my LinkedIn, and then a link to my resume. That will be a wrap. Any questions or comments?
Hi there, Matt. I was wondering if you could tell these nice folks about your plans to maybe sell these patterns a little bit later on a website, that sort of thing.
So these patterns can, one thing I was working with, helping someone with, that's how I kind of got started doing these on my own. These patterns can be sold as seamless patterns in a pair. So these patterns I pulled out are just one of many that I developed and would do promos with who I was working with. So basically I would take, say, said pattern like this, load it into Photoshop, create different variations of it, and then take small samples of it, load it up onto a Photoshop document, and then overlay text for the promo, and then grab a README text. That's basically how that would work.
Okay, but I think you had told me that you were maybe possibly planning on selling your patterns on a stock photo website.
Yeah, possibly down the road.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm maybe looking to becoming a freelance graphic designer.
Okay.
And not to put anyone on the spot, but Miranda, I know you worked with Matt as well. I don't know if you wanted to say anything.
Yeah, sorry, I just got, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, I just got my audio figured out just like 3 minutes ago, but yes. So I am just, first of all, so impressed from the beginning of the semester to now. Like I can see the growth that you've had as a designer, and also just like within talking to you, having more confidence in your work as you've grown throughout the semester. So I just want to say, first of all, excellent, excellent job. And I think that I have not seen the website. We've just been doing kind of, I've seen your work as it's kind of progressed. I have not seen it in the portfolio website for us. It's really great to see everything kind of laid out, and I'm so excited that you have this now to showcase, because I really do think that you have some incredibly strong pieces in here. And I like the there is a lot of variety in it, which I think is great.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought the use of color is, you're making some really interesting color choices in certain pieces. I thought that the jeans brochure piece was your strongest piece by far.
I have to agree. I think the same thing.
Yes, I'm not as much of a fan of the use of patterns on like the jeans brochure. I think it's innovative, it's fresh, it feels like they have a strong market position. It's got a really like charming 80s retro, but not quite. But the colors are there, like the 80s color scheme is there. And it feels like it's got a strong personality, which I love. And I would encourage you just to continue to develop that voice. I thought your palette on the bulbs book was interesting, because I thought you were making some good choices, but they were surprising choices too. Like, and I thought those two pieces I feel really strong. The pieces that use backgrounds, like the zoo and Biltmore pieces, I didn't think are strong. Those backgrounds are pulling too much focus. I would, rather than use a pattern background, you could use some subtle texture, so that they're really those backgrounds are seriously competing with the text. So I love the, yeah, see there, that background is so strong that it's almost fighting with the copy. My eye keeps getting pulled to the patterning. But I thought that your use of color and the vibrancy and the sense of personality and playfulness of your work was great. It's nice to see that personality come through.
Hi guys, my name is Marita Luna. I'm currently wrapping my final semester up as a web and graphic design student. As I go through my portfolio, you'll notice that I take a liking to clean and modern designs with my work. Today I will be presenting a few of my stronger pieces in my portfolio. So go ahead and get started. This first one is for the Junior League of Knoxville. Here we have the Centennial logo for the Junior League of Knoxville. I used Illustrator for this project. JLK is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism and empowering women through effective action in order to promote social change. For the logo, our team of 3 wanted to be sure that we designed and promoted something with a bold and clear aesthetic that communicated strength as well as professionalism. Our main inspiration was a logo with a sunburst surrounding it that the client had provided for us. So after multiple drafts, as you can see here, and revisions, this was our final product here. The clients were very pleased of the outcome, saying that it was an exceptional design and they really enjoyed working with our design team. And let me back out. Maybe. My next project was a news spread or a magazine spread, I'm sorry. This was done on InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop. And this spread I made for a hypothetical company by the name of the Rooftop Garden. It promotes better eating, the importance of nutrition, and suggests ways to live a healthier lifestyle. As you can see, I used waves and the color orange to border my images to create a joyful and enthusiastic atmosphere for the reader. My main goal here was to associate healthy eating with a sense of joy for the audience. The main reason behind the two-column approach here is that it's easier on the reader's eye as opposed to longer lines of text where the reader can become easily lost in a paragraph. I wanted to give this company a bit of humanity to it, so I chose a handwritten font for their name. And as for my font choice for the body, I went with Futura because I feel like it's a very versatile and high quality typeface. I don't know if you can't really see it here. Here's a flat version. I refrained from using black for my text just because I felt like the dark gray would be easier on the eyes as opposed to straight black. And my next one is the Tennessee Aquarium brochure. For this one, I used InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop. There's the mock-up. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you the flat versions as well. The first flat version, and the second half. So this is for the Tennessee Aquarium located in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I did my research on this aquarium, so my palette and overall simple yet efficient design was inspired directly from their website. For the colors in this brochure, I took a screenshot of their website and used the eyedropper tool in Illustrator, where I created these waves, as you can see here and down here. I created these waves and layered them on top of one another. For the imagery, I wanted to stick to hues of blues and greens, just so I wouldn't have any images sticking out like a sore thumb, and just have them all work together in harmony. And this one's going to be the glowing body yoga studio. I used InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop for this. Here it is on a business card mock-up. I actually have a communication and style guide here. So here's the old logo here on the left, and this was the updated logo that I made. I know I keep bringing color up, but I know that it holds like a lot of power when it comes to creating a logo. So I wanted to stick to happy and bright colors because I just feel like it makes a positive impact on the emotions of people that look at the logo as opposed to dark colors. And even though I used bright colors, I also wanted to use these colors too, because I felt like there should be like an alternative for the logo, just to create something a little bit more relaxing and calming. And for the typeface, I chose Philosopher, Bold, and Regular. I chose this humanist sans serif font to give the logo a more modern approach. And for the bottom typeface, I used Futura. And here are different color combinations that are appropriate for the logo. And then I have the black and white and the reverse. Here I have do's and don'ts as to where the logo can and cannot be applied. Obviously, you don't want to put it over face. You don't want to put it in a really bright spot like that if the logo is going to be white. Just file types and social media usages. There we go. And improper uses of the logo. We don't want distortion. We don't want tilting. We don't want different typefaces. And here it is on this different mock-ups. My next one is going to be a process infographic. Here is the markup, and here is, I think you can see it a little bit better here. So this is my illustrated process infographic on how to be more environmentally friendly. This was all done on Illustrator. It's basically just explaining simple tasks that one can do around their home to become more eco-friendly. I set to greens to stay consistent with new beginnings and growth when you take small steps to becoming eco-friendly. Here is the spread for a coffee shop, a local coffee shop by the name of Remedy, which is located in downtown North Knoxville. Remedy is known for their organic coffee and their rustic feel. So I kind of tried to like go for a rustic approach with this design. I've even included an image of their interior here just so the audience could get a better sense of the coffee shop. And I'll go most of the illustrations here. Illustrating has always been something that I have enjoyed doing, and I do artwork commissions for clients. Here are just a few of my most recent pieces. This one here. And finally that one. And of course, my resume is located up at the top, as well as my contact. Like if you want to contact me, you can go ahead and just click here, enter your name, email, and message, and I'll go ahead and I'll receive it by email. And are there any questions or comments?
Hey, Maritza. I absolutely love your work, especially your print projects. They're so clean. The design really flows, great use of color. The only one little thing I was going to say to you is that possibly on your aquarium brochure, maybe not use the rounded rectangles for your photos on the, looks like the center of it. Just stay with that wave kind of way that you were presenting them and kind of keep it consistent throughout. But, you know, absolutely great job. Very clean, beautiful work. Thank you.
I have two comments. I'm actually a member of Junior League of Knoxville and have been for 8 years. And I just have to say, like, I'm very pleased with all of the branding and all the work that you've done with that.
Thank you.
And I think they will be as well. I'm a sustaining member now, but anyway, so that was really nicely illustrated. And our 100th centennial anniversary is going to be a big deal. So and we've lost some people, and we don't have a strong web design presence and people working on our branding and our promotional type pieces. So I know that they're going to be very grateful for that. And it is a nonprofit, so there's not a lot of money that can go into that. So that was exciting. But I wanted to mention, I liked that in your portfolio for that aspect that you put the logos of the programs that you used, and I was going to take that back to Trey, and that would be a nice way, you know, of showing. I like how you did that with just like putting the logo because sometimes, you know, pictures can say more than words, and so or just as much. So but I really like your clean look. It was very easy, you know, you don't get lost in other elements because it's very clean look. So very nice job.
Thank you so much.
I think as a whole, like Melissa, I think you should be very pleased. This is a very talented group. I mean, every group that I've seen so far that I've done this is very talented, but this one, this group is very impressive.
And they're competitive in the marketplace. They are, and we like that. So I want to give everybody a run for their money. And Marissa, I'm not exactly sure if any of your mentors are here. You'll have to sort of tell me.
Yeah, it's Cordelia.
Okay, Cordelia, you wanted to have any additional comments?
Well, I'd like to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I was going to say that Luna always did an unbelievable job on all the courses she has taken with me. And I can see it in her portfolio. Everything looks clean and easy to access and really nice. So I'm sure she can land a great job. So
Thank you so much, Vida.
I really like your portfolio. It's beautiful, done beautifully. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you also for being so willing to take feedback.
Yes, absolutely. If anybody ever has any feedback, please tell me, give it to me.
Yeah, it was great. It was great working with you during the course this semester, and going through everything and fine tuning, and yeah. So
Yes, thank you. I really enjoyed being your mentoree, as I mentioned in my emails. I think you gave a lot of really good feedback, and thank you for all of the book recommendations and links and articles and just everything to make me a better designer.
well, it's a lifetime worth of reading. It's a long list, but
yeah.
definitely some pandemic reading. So, but yeah, your portfolio looks fantastic. I thought I liked your approach to a glowing body. That was one I had not. I've seen everything else before except for glowing body, I think.
Yeah, that one was still that one was in process, and I just I'm sorry I didn't show you that one.
That's fine. No, it was a nice surprise when I saw it last night. I like the warm and cool palette. I remember when Glowing Body got launched, and I moved over to them as my new yoga studio when they first launched. So
oh wow, okay.
I've been following them for some time, so I thought it was a great choice. Robin Easter's company, I think, did the original branding for them and everything. So, but definitely good time for a refresh. So yeah, I think it looks great, and I agree. Taking out the capsule images on the aquarium site that doesn't feel, you could just have images that run, horizontal. Yeah, I mean, they can just be stacked, or they could be separated, or you could use a little bit of an overlay of just thin wave lines just to, use an illustrative element on top of the images that don't. Yeah, the capsule, first of all, you're cutting off a lot of valuable information, and it just doesn't make sense for the subject. But yeah, I think I would also see if you could do something with the banner, at least in the photos, the headers look super dark. I think there's an opportunity to add some variegated color there, or do something a little bit with that.
Got it. Thank you.
I wanted to say that I'm really impressed and been thankful that you did both the mock-up and also like a flat lay, because I think that it shows the potential of it when you do print it or when it does go out. But then at the same time, it's as somebody who's like watching, it's very clear in the more flat lays of what it is going to look like, before it goes into production. So I really like that you included both of those. I think that makes things a lot stronger.
Thank you.
Can I bring up a point? And I don't know, Melissa, I'm just kind of like perusing some portfolios as I'm listening, but I don't know if this is something you addressed or if you had any kind of requirements or, well, I've noticed when I'm looking at some of the portfolios that there's a phone number on there, and so I would highly recommend.
We've addressed that, and so
well,
I thought edits were going to happen, but that's okay.
And it's on everyone's, and also when you click on your resume, there's I'm not saying on I haven't looked at yours, but addresses. I'm sorry, but we live in a scary world, and we have spammers, and we have all kinds of things. And I get that you need to, potentially share this with the future employer.
Do it on the application,
however,
right? Yeah.
Maybe have like a separate one that you can privately send a link to that has all of that. But you guys don't want to put this information out there. And I noticed on someone that your information is on there too, Melissa. So you guys just need to, you guys just need to be careful. And you can Google your name, and I've caught myself putting that kind of information out there, and there's all kinds of things you can find on yourself.
Yeah.
So please be
That's
cognizant of that.
Important point.
Yeah, protect yourself, please.
Because these are all public URLs.
Mm-hmm.
And bots are crawling, and we all know that. So please heed Stephanie's very, very poignant and timely advice. So it's okay for our presentation today, but going forward, protect yourself. Let's just be smart designers. So that's awesome. I honestly thought, and just to go back to Marissa for a second, I honestly thought that you did those rounded rectangles because so many windows at the aquarium have that shape. I thought you were trying to pick up on that, honestly.
I thought that as well. I thought it was like a neat, play on that. But I definitely get what everyone else was saying as well about that. But that's what I thought it was, like the kind of little aquarium looking windows.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of. But like once people started to point out that it takes a lot out of the picture, I was kind of like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Well, you know, everyone has different, you know, design thought process, and doesn't really, there's a lot of design best practices, but then there's also a line that you can draw when it comes to personal preference and how you view, you know, your artistic views and all of that. However, I agree with everyone else, but I don't know if this would jeopardize the picture, but I wonder if you made them longer and still kind of had the oval type shape, it would still give kind of that aquarium type look, but then still gave, you know, didn't take away from the picture.
Right.
Okay, so hi, my name is Ashley Miller. I'm a design web and print student at PSCC, and here's my portfolio. So I have the LinkedIn link up here in the corner, and my resume and contact information over on this side. So the first one here is this was a call to action for the Joy of Music School here in Knoxville. Basically, I was trying to get people who were musicians to volunteer to teach. So I made a postcard and a Facebook ad. And here are the flat versions of them. So I was just kind of trying to make it look kind of flowy like how music does. So, and I used InDesign for both of these. So this was a cat cafe mock website that I made, and I designed the logo and everything for this. This was actually a picture of one of my notepads that I made the menu on here. And then I put these cats in all these little antique frames just to kind of give it some quirkiness. And coffee shop that you would go to and just hang out with the cats, because the cat cafes are adoption programs. So, and I also used InDesign for this. This was a book cover that I made, a mock book cover, based on the idea was based on one of my favorite Dr. Seuss quotes.
I think there's a little bit of a lag. We're still seeing the cat cafe.
Oh, okay. So let me know when it pops up.
There it is.
Okay. Okay, so the Dr. Seuss quote is, "You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose." So I kind of thought that I would make this an inspirational book called Navigating Your Destiny, and that made me think of a map, so I kind of used the map theme. And here's the flat version of it with a little bit more information. So, oops. This was the bulb booklet that I made. And I used InDesign for this. So here's all the pages. It just kind of has different information about bulbs and when to plant them and just the different kinds. And some of them even give, some of the descriptions even give suggestions on planting things together and things like that. So I wanted to make this look floral, kind of make you think of springtime or summertime. Here is a Biltmore brochure that I did. And I focused on the wine side of the Biltmore estate. They have the wine club, and they have this program where they'll have an artist featured each year to use on the labels. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then here's the taste testing paired with chocolate, and thought that was kind of neat too. So here's a flat version of that. And I used InDesign to make this also. Here's another book cover. This one was the scary book, which I used Photoshop to create this one. Used composites. And I made a very scary looking mermaid mixed with like an angler fish kind of thing. So, and basically this group of scientists finds that when they're exploring the ocean. So. This was a logo that I did for the dual roles project, where we were a designer for one company and clients for 2 other companies. And the company I was designing for was Hairway to Heaven, which is was supposed to be an affordable salon, but kind of elegant at the same time. So here's a sign, how it would look on the sign, and here's some business cards over here. But this is the different versions of the logo. This was a rebrand that I did for a local company that needed some help. Actually, here's the style guide here. So I actually do tours for this company, this ghost tour company, and they didn't really have any branding at all. So here was what's on their website. And so we have an issue with people, leaving good reviews on other ghost tours TripAdvisors. So I thought that kind of pairing this ghost character, which is on the back of our tour guide shirt, with the logo might make it easier to recognize. So that was why I did that. Here's the color palette. I kind of just gave several choices just in case for other maybe pamphlets or things like that they might make. And then here are the things, this is where you would want to put it, and you don't want to put it over anybody's face or behind a white background or anything. These are, don't stretch them or distort them. Here's what it would look like on stationery. Here's what it could potentially look like on some shirts. And the digital and social media. And that's that. So, and then I just have the the logo is there too. Okay, so this is a mobile app that I made. And I was actually, the reason I came up with this one is I was in Portugal looking for castles a couple of years ago, and I had to find it through locals. So I thought that would be kind of neat to have an app where you could actually find castles. So that was why I came up with this app. And I used Photoshop to make this. And this was a process infographic that I made.
How are you?
So this is a recipe for a smoothie. I just kind of wanted to make it look kind of like soft and sweet. And here's all the ingredients and the instructions. And I illustrated all of these little ingredients and everything too in Adobe Illustrator. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to make this look like a space theme. This was actually one of my first projects in design. So. And here was the Panthers on microphone, which was an event that was supposed to happen, but the pandemic kind of messed it up. So this was a poster for that and a logo that I came up with. And that's everything. So does anybody have any questions?
I worked with Ashley as well, and she was also a pleasure to work with and willing to take feedback and very eager and passionate about her work. And so I've seen great improvements from the very beginning to the end. And there was feedback that whoever the other person she worked with gave and some that I gave, and it looks like that she's implemented all of that we suggested. So just very nice job, and thanks for your eagerness and for sharing your passion for your work.
Thank you.
Oh, and that's great to hear. It's always nice to get those backstories. One thing I would mention, Ashley, is I do a lot of book design.
Mm-hmm.
And actually starting at Pellissippi, and then from there, and my husband and I have a small publishing company. So one thing I was just going to mention with navigating your destiny,
mm-hmm.
And there are instances in which you'll see this not done, but typically you want to have the text on the spine running sideways. Top.
Okay.
And like I said, there are exceptions to that rule. They're typically from older books.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see this oftentimes, like let's say you have the masterworks, like a collection of masterworks. You might have, you will see this done in earlier books, maybe like leather-bound volumes. Sometimes will just be printed straight across. But typically, you want to know what the conventions are before you break them. And typically for readability and to increase the size of the type, it runs starting top, running down, so you can, like, let's say you tilted your head to your right,
mm-hmm.
left, you would be able to read. So that's one little nitpicky thing. And I would love to see a little splash of color on that. I think a little red or just a little, or some aqua, or just a little splash of color.
Mm-hmm.
To give that just a little pop of vibrancy while keeping that muted color scheme.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was just a little bit of feedback. The Cat Cafe piece I thought was quite whimsical. And has a nice sense of humor. I like that you're using your own reference photos because that's always an ideal way to go. But yeah, I thought that has a lot of charm and shows like your personality and your sense of humor.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, can I say something? Hi, Ashley.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I
Good.
just noticed that in your navigation, in your portfolio, you have to click on your name all the time. to
Yeah.
get the next page. Is that any way you can have an arrow? So if somebody is looking at your portfolio, they don't have to constantly go back to your name and just
Yeah.
click on the next. I just thought that was a little bit too much work for
Yeah.
someone to view your portfolio. If you can do that, that would be great.
Yeah. I'll do that. I can do that.
Yes, because I feel like you constantly is going backward and forward. So
Mhm.
I feel like if there is an arrow somewhere that moves to the next project, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll fix that.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, whenever you're ready. Kelly, go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. I have to wait until she stops sharing, I think.
Okay.
My computer's being slow. I've already pushed it. It's just.
Can I speak a little bit while she's trying to get off of there, since she was my mentee and also my intern. Ashley did a great job. I'm just so amazed at how great her portfolio looks now. And as an intern, she was just absolutely such a positive person and worked really hard. I had her do a couple of projects with me that were kind of interesting, and she did just a fantastic job with it. So I think that she's going to be heading for some great things out there.
Does everybody see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am Kaylee Sands. I'm a student at PSCC State, and I will be graduating next spring. I have experience in web design, specializing in WordPress, and my portfolio includes some of the websites I've created for clients outside of school. I'm most comfortable in web design, but I'm trying to expand my creative skills into graphic design as well. So this is my website, and if you hit the About button, it's going to scroll down to the About Me, and then this is my resume link, and then contact to my contact form, and at the bottom I've got some social media links, and then projects page, and I'm gonna jump around. We're not going to talk about all of them, but we're going to start with Bella Blue. So this was a brochure for a high-end fashion company, similar to companies like Dolce & Gabbana. And I used a combination of an edgy and bold display font and a handwritten script font to create a sense of luxury. This is the mock-up, and then down here I've got the flats, and then I've listed the programs I've used to create this. I used different shades of blue to embody the name of the company in conjunction with color blocking. And I also created this little logo, which I should have mocked up separately for y'all to see, but I forgot to do that. And it has a tagline, and it says, "Dare to be blue." And then we're gonna go here to Fire and Ice. This was one of my favorite poems, and I loved this project because I was able to incorporate my favorite poem with this project. I used a subtle gradient to make a play on fire and ice, so it's kind of throughout the text. And I used a serif font for this project. Go back to the projects page. And then this is one of the websites I'm going to share. And if you click this, it would take it. But for ease, I have already put them up here so that they don't take forever to load. This was created this year for a client who is working on a program for specialty subcontractors. And it's I used the construction yellow, which is very common. I have some experience in the construction industry because my husband's family actually owns a construction company, so lots of hidden knowledge about that. But I did this logo for them earlier this year, and it's like a little gear and then a little hard hat. So I used that yellow throughout the site, and scroll down and it'll showcase the features of the software. And we've got a mock-up right here of what the actual app will look like at the login screen. And if you hit learn more, I think it takes you to the features page again. You can hit packages and pricing. It's going to show you some sample pricing, and then a contact form. And this site is still under construction, really, because the content hasn't been finished. The program's still being written, so it's not quite done yet. But then we'll go back to projects. And then this is another website that I've done. And this would also link you to the site. We've got a really cool hero video going on of one of the job sites. This is actually a recent video. A lot of these images, not the video, but some of the images I took when I've traveled to the job sites. This is my husband's family's construction company. So I've had some extra work put into this one. And I created this website several years ago, but I've kept up with yearly modifications for it just to keep it, modern and updated, and the images needing to be updated every so often. But they are a subcontractor specializing in metal wall panels. So a lot of their work is going to showcase that. They've actually been around for quite a long time, since 1984. And I kept the color scheme. I mean, you can see throughout the site, the colors that I've used are in line with what their original logo has. And then we'll go back, and I think down here, this is another site that I've done for a client, and this is actually an e-commerce site. So we'll go over to the shop page. She sells her specialty sauces and rubs, and also apparel, and she does barbecue classes, which is really cool. And then she also sells throughout the Pacific Northwest. These are some local shops that she sells her items at. And then here is her catering page, because she's not a restaurant. She just does she has products she sells, catering, and then she does classes. But she specifically asked for like a chalkboard menu style look, so I incorporated that. And there's a contact form. And this client has ever evolving content, so I'm in a working relationship with her, and we're constantly revamping her page to keep up with everything. And we just finished last week this media page, where we've added some of her media elements in here. And she's been on a lot. She was on Chopped. I haven't added that link on here yet, but she was on the show Chopped a couple times. We'll go back to my page. And then the last one I'm going to share is actually this other portfolio site. This is for a recent graduate from the University of Oregon to showcase his photojournalism portfolio. And he's trying to stand out from other photojournalists. So instead of the standard menu bar at the top, we opted for a side menu just to go away from the curve a little bit and look a little bit different. And then all of the main pages focus on hero images to showcase some of his best work. And then if you would scroll on any of these pages, you would see other images that you could click. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?
Can you go back to your main homepage?
Yes.
And then scroll down some. This may be me, so but I kind of feel like there's too much space in between. Scroll back up. Wait, scroll back down. Well, yeah, between there, that's a funky amount of space. Maybe that's just me. and that's just my preference, but you kind of lose me, or people may not scan down far enough.
Okay.
So it's nice to have like a good amount of space, but that may be a little extreme.
Okay.
But overall, it's a very nice portfolio. And you do want to be careful also. Yours were fine, I believe, but when you're using those visuals that move, you don't want to make them too flashy, or that you don't want them to move too much.
Okay.
So I think you had a good speed, because that can make people, for accessibility purposes, their eyes, you might kind of lose them.
Yeah.
But very, very nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun watching the evolution of the site. And I really like where you landed, because I've seen several iterations of it over the semester, and I love that. I mean, I think the header image that you shot now is great. And the fact that that's your photo gives the site a lot of extra, it just gives it more personality and something that's much more original to you. That script font I would use sparingly.
Okay.
Because I would to make sure you test it on mobile, and make sure you test it on a lot of different devices, just to see how it translates from the big screen to like a little handheld. 40 to 60% people are going to be looking at your site on mobile. So that is the one thing. Also, and I think, I think all of this is working well. You might think about using a more cursive font, or use of purple, or things like that, depending on who your market is. If you're going to be positioning to work more in the construction industry, you might want to move away from that. But that's something that you can kind of determine over time.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great work. It was fun working with you, really fun working with you over the semester. And again, like my other mentees, we just really appreciate you taking in feedback. That is it's such a lovely thing. And I love seeing these projects evolve over time.
Thank you. I really loved working with you as well.
Thanks. And I think you're the ability to develop and launch WordPress sites should see you through any economic downturn that we have. Especially in a post-COVID environment, companies are investing more.
Yeah.
In their sites. They're putting more money into it. They're realizing how vitally important that is as the centerpiece of their marketing. So I think you should be in really great shape. But nice job.
Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing. Kelly, you do a great job all the time. And, I enjoyed having you in the class, the WordPress class, and I just love everything you have done. Great job.
Yeah, thank you.